right, hello, and welcome back to another edition of Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Hope you're all having a good Tuesday. It absolutely downpoured on me on the ride over here, so we got some pop-up thunderstorms in the area. Stay dry, or I don't know, it's kind of typical summertime around here though, right? So not that big of a deal, but definitely pop-up thunderstorms. I had a lot of fog going into work today, and it's just the normal summertime stuff, so we deal with it. But hope you all had a nice weekend. Our first show back, I went up to Maine. It was very lovely. Football is back, of course. I watched the Patriots preseason game up there at the lake. That was very nice. And let's see what else is going on in the sports world. Red Sox had the Phillies this tonight. Sox back home. Those guys are unbelievable. 50 games over 500. So the Red Sox keep cooking. That has not changed since we last spoke. Today's show, we had last week we had a great couple shows. We talked some Newburyport football with Coach Smolsky. That was fantastic. And it's good to see Newburyport, I think, has the kids, what did he say? Friday, I think the Newburyport football season kicks into gear. So signs of fall are in the air as well. So, but a fun week there. And don't forget, folks, you can follow the show. I already sent out a tweet here today at Joppa Afternoons, at Joppa Afternoons on Twitter. I'll keep watching the phone here as we go. I did ask for some requests. Got some people already liking the tweet here. No actual request yet, but we'll tell you about my guest here for a moment. I got Peter Tintendo in the house. He's a great singer, songwriter, guitar player, local guy. I have seen him a couple times recently, and well, it's always fun. So I asked for some requests. If you want to shoot some in, he can probably honor it. If he says no, don't be offended. but he's in the house and ready to go. So it's going to be a bit of a music show today. We do plenty of those here, so you know how much I like those. So very good. A lot going on in the world, too. We had that bridge collapse in Italy, which was terrible today. Video is just incredible to watch. And, of course, the issue in London there with the guy driving into the House of Parliament. Looks like a case of terrorism, but luckily it looked like nobody had died at last check, so kind of a violent day in the world. But anyways, we're going to keep it a little bit lighter here today and do the guitar thing with Peter Tintendo. If you want to shoot some requests my way, we'll try to honor them. Feel free to stay interactive. It's a good way to do it, so I'm looking forward to that. Tyler Neufeld is our radio producer, a fellow guitar player, so this should be a fun show for Tyler today. And David Kramer on the TV side. Don't forget, we're streaming on the YouTube Port Media station as well, so I know a lot of people use that, and if you haven't found that yet, it's a good way to carry us with you at all times. So I will get out of the way. We'll take our first little quick break here, and when I come back, we'll have Peter Tintendo. We'll talk some music, and we'll play some music for you. Looking forward to it. Keep it here, Joppa Afternoon Drive. My name's Drew Moholland. Be right back. Cool. Awesome.
Sunday morning and I'm wondering where you are. I always thought that we would make it this far. One day we'd roll over and say to each other, whoa, whoa. Remember that night we were in the fountain lawn. We got all soaking wet and then we went home. Nothing in the whole world could ever have gone wrong. Whoa, whoa. Down by the riverside, under the starlight, I wish the band would play all night long in that Mississippi moon. Shine on. You were the last one that I laid eyes on before I got in my car, never to come home. We said if we turned 30 and we were still alone. Whoa, whoa. Daybreak broke up the night skies. I head out on the road. Little did I know just how far I would go. My heart holds on to those simple things for reasons that we will never know. Down by the riverside, under the starlight, I wish the band would play all night long in that Mississippi moon. Shine on. Years can't tell the wind, we still sing a lullaby. Shadows cast upon your soul will dance right through the night. I'm haunted by what brings me home and then tells me goodbye. Carnival rides and neon lights, kids trying hard just to get it right. Gravel drive and a porch swing ride, Midwestern nights and fireflies. Down by the riverside, under the starlight, I wish the band would play all night long, that Mississippi moon. Shine on down by the riverside.
All right, welcome back to Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Hope you're all having a good Tuesday afternoon. On what we took the curtains down just for a little bit of lighting, so hopefully the rain stopped, but hopefully you're staying dry out there. We had a great guest in-house, Peter Tintendo, great local guitar player. Peter, first time, I've known you for a while here, but it's your first time on the show. I reached out a couple weeks ago and you said, let's make it happen, so here we are.
Hey, dude, thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I remember when you came to see me, what was a couple months ago. I was opening up for
in Beverly at
the Tom Petty tribute.
Yes, which was a fun night.
So that was an awesome.
What
night,
a cool theater that is in Beverly. The what's that? Was it the Latham?
The Larkham.
Larkham. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's a cool little place.
I was opening up for my friends, and the Tom Petty tribute won't back down, and it was just like it was cool. It was like, and it was just an amazing crowd that night. Even doing the acoustic thing, everybody was just so like warm. That room was just so like it was so nice.
You had they had a 10-piece band. You were up there with your guitar as the opening act.
It was just me solo. I was like, hey, do you want to open? I'm like, yeah, let's do it, man. And I show up and I'm playing some cover tunes and this and then that, and everybody's like singing these tunes back to me on like the crowd was just ridiculously awesome.
You had them going that night. I do recall that, and it was a great little venue. What do you think that is? How many people are there? You think?
I think it holds a little over 500.
500. So that's a pretty big gig for just a man and his acoustic guitar.
It was awesome, man. I had a blast.
What's your goal with that when you're you're an opening act? You probably actually in that case a lot of people did come to see you because you're a local guy. But I know a lot of times when you're asked by friends to come be an opener, you're just probably trying to set the right mood or whatever. Is that the mindset going in?
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, when if it's your show, it's you want to put on the best show, but like when you're opening, especially in it's an acoustic act opening up for a full band, you want to get their attention, you want to keep them going, and with one guy. So, and I like to move around, I like to do all these different things when I perform, so it's like I have to sound like the one-man band doing the acoustic thing and singing and playing, because I like to play lead. I'm a lead guitar player as well. That's my main thing, and it's just cool to be able to do all that on stage, but then just play songs that the crowd knows, see how they react, and I was feeding off the energy in that crowd that night. It was amazing. I couldn't believe like how awesome everybody was. And then I had to leave because I had another show that night around the corner.
And some people followed you.
And everybody came over. I remember you coming over. I was just like, this is awesome. And everybody was just the same crew. And that's why I do it. That's why I love doing it, because it's the reaction you get from people when you perform. And I've been doing it for a while. It just, in all different configurations, full band, solo. I've been doing more the solo thing more lately, and I've had to learn how to be that type of artist, like
Yeah.
a singer, songwriter, acoustic thing, where I get to play some of my originals, and I try to draw from a wide range of things that I've done over my time being a full-time musician.
Right.
So like I'm drawing from, I grew up on the Beatles, like that was like my first real influence. My father was a musician, he turned me on to all that, and then from there it just progressed. But as I've been playing out with my different groups, I've always tried to take a song or two from each thing that I've done,
Right.
and incorporate that into what I do.
That is cool.
And I'll play a song for you right now. I guess since
Yeah,
we're on the
take it away.
Beatles, I'll
Absolutely.
do a Beatles song for you called "We Can Work
Oh,
It Out."
I like that. Absolutely.
Yeah, do
All right.
one of the classics. Should start us off right.
Peter Nintendo here, setting the stage. First song of the day. Take it away.
Here we go. Try to see it my way. Do I have to keep on talking till I can't go on? Try to see your way. There's a chance that we may fall apart before too long. We can work it out. We can work it out. Figure what you're saying. You can get it wrong and still think that it's alright. Figure what I'm saying. We can work it out and get it straight or say goodnight. We can work it out. We can work it out. Life is very short and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friend. I have always thought that it's a crime, so I will ask you once again. Try to see it my way. Only time will tell you if I am right or I am wrong. Try to see it your way. There's a risk that we may fall apart before too long. We can work it out. We can work it out. Life is very short and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friend. I have always thought that it's a crime, so I will ask you once again. Try to see it my way. Only time will tell you if I am right or I am wrong. Try to see your way. There's a risk that we may fall apart before too long. We can work it out. We can work it out.
Very nice. Very nice.
Some Beatles for you
There you go. How about that?
One of my earliest influences, man. I grew up, like I said, my father turned me on to them. I used to listen to all the bands that had a "the" at the beginning, the Beach Boys, the Beatles.
Yeah.
That was my first real influence. It's actually where I learned how to sing and harmonize.
Yeah.
I was listening to bands like that. And I was such a big Beatles fan. I have like a box full of stuff with all the CDs. I was
Right.
collecting, and I didn't collect records when I was growing up because we only had CDs and like tapes and cassettes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, I would get all the CDs. I had all the CDs and all like the rare stuff. I went to a couple conventions and picked up all this rare stuff. And I used to be able to like tell you what date those records came out. I had a book that was like, oh yeah, that was on the 22nd of 1963 or something like that. That's when the first single dropped or
kidding.
whatever.
Well, who's the favorite Beatle?
My favorite, you know what? It's got to be Paul and John, but I always feel like they both are.
Yeah.
I like John. I was always drawn to John's like message and how he used the music to convey that message. But I thought Paul was very talented in his musicality.
Yeah.
But George was always very underrated. I always felt too. Because I thought he wrote some beautiful songs like Something and things like that. You know, like just these chords like you listen to Abbey Road and you go, wow, that's really, really beautiful song. Like you hear something in the way she moves, attracts me like no other lover. And it's just these beautiful, beautiful progressions that he wrote. I just always felt he was underrated, even as a lead guitar player. He played some really memorable
Typical diehard
solos.
Beatles fan, right? You can't name one.
It's the same. Yeah, wait till if you ask me about my guitar heroes, it's the same. It's the same kind of deal. But so they were one of my earliest influences, and then I had cousins. I took lessons from my cousin, and he was into the '80s, the hair bands, and all the hard rock stuff. So Kiss became a big influence. I always loved the theatrics in the show, and I was like, that's really cool. And I grew up on. Then I was collecting those records. So I went from the '60s to the '70s. And I was like, yeah, that's it, man. You know, and I was like, doing the same thing with that. I grew up like an obsessive compulsive musician or something that. It was just like, I want to learn about all the nooks and crannies of these records and things like that.
Cool. And you got it all in the family too. That I didn't quite realize that about you. A lot of musicians in the family.
Yeah, my youngest brother plays. He plays too, and I taught him a little bit. And he was playing with my original group, Venus Mars Project.
Yep.
And my partner Jason and I, she and I have a group called Venus Mars Project, and it's original pop rock. It's got that pop. It's got that pop catchy hooks thing mixed in with that that rock thing. You got to have both, and instead of it being polished pop. But it was funny because she came off of a more like R&B theater background, and I came off the rock thing, and I always wanted to be a little more what she does, and she always wanted to be a little more what I do. So that's how our world. That's why we called it that. It's not because like, oh, she's a girl, you're a guy, Venus Mars. No, it wasn't that. It was just our musical worlds. That's why we said, like, our musical worlds just kind of came together.
That's cool.
So we called it that. And I'll play one of the songs we actually wrote. I mean, she sings this one normally. So if you go on to VenusMarsProject.com, you can check that out.
Okay, cool.
And hear what we do. But this is a song.
And if someone wants to hear your music, too, because you do play a lot
I'm an original
locally.
musician. I write my own stuff, too.
But, I mean, there's a lot of Gloucester dates you're playing right now?
Yeah, actually, I'm playing there on September 8th.
Captain Carlos,
I was just there last weekend doing a show. I'm going to be there 7 to 10 on September 8th.
Okay.
And then I think I'm pretty much playing around the North Shore area. I also work with a group called Phoenix Productions that puts together, weddings and functions for groups. And I actually come in and I play lead guitar.
Oh, nice.
And it's a really cool mishmash. It's called Phoenix Fusion. And we have a drummer and me. And I'll play, the DJ's doing the thing, and we're just playing and rocking out. It's the coolest thing. We just did they just had it a couple months ago. They had the Portuguese Music Awards, but I played the pre-party late last year. It was amazing. It was just cool playing the guitar because I'm on the wireless and I get to walk out and rock out the crowd and stuff like that. Because, like I said, a lot of my influences were '80s and like that stuff too. Like a lot of my lead guitar playing came from that stuff. But
that is cool.
Yeah, so I'm doing some stuff with that. And then as far as my solo dates are concerned, that's the next one that's coming up is on September 8th, and then I'm playing with the Hirsch Gardner Project, which Hirsch Gardner was in the band New England.
Oh, okay.
And back in the late '70s, they were actually signed to Kiss's record label.
Really?
And Paul Stanley, who was one of my favorites, did a couple of. I think he produced their record, and so I'm working with. I'm asking Hirsch, dude, I want to know all this stuff about Kiss, and he knew all the inside.
I need all the stories.
They were signed to the same label. It's so they were all in the same circle together and things like that. Cool. So it was really cool. But we're doing a show with Michael Sweet up in New Hampshire, Manchester, New Hampshire. I think it's a club called Jewel on September 29th.
Okay.
So that's a full band thing. That's not just me. So I'm just in a couple different groups that I'm playing out with and playing locally, and I fill in for bands. I just filled in for this '80s group called Fast Times, and they do all the '80s stuff. It's all my stuff I love so much. But
cool.
But like I was saying, a lot of my original music kind of comes off of that Beatles meets the '80s meets the a little bit of that. But this song my partner Jason and I wrote is called Hands of Time.
Hands of Time. All right.
You can check it out, VenusMarsProject.com. You can hear the.
This off an album yet, or is it not?
It's on. We released it. It's up on Spotify, iTunes, and all that stuff.
Okay.
You can check it out there. And
cool.
But we have a music video on YouTube you can check out as well that we did a few years ago. And but this is my version.
All right. We'll let you take us all the way to the break here, and then we'll come back with more Peter Tintendo. Here you go. Take it away.
Gone, just the scars will last. Move ahead, lose an hour of your life, falling back, and soon the day turns into night. There's no rewind. stop to look around and get lost inside your mind. Oh, still this moment. If I could only catch my breath, we're holding the hands of time.
Very nice. Much more with Peter Tintendo in just a moment. Keep it here, Joppa Afternoon Drive.
Every day I have blues. If you see me looking worried, well, it's you I hate to lose. Nobody loves me, nobody seems to care. Yeah, nobody loves me, nobody seems to care. Talk about bad luck and trouble, you know I had my share. Pack my suitcase, move on down the line. Yeah, gonna pack my suitcase, move on down the line. 'Cause there ain't no use in worrying, and there ain't no use in crying. Yep. Every day I have the blues. Every day I have the blues. Well, when you see me looking worried, 'cause it's you I had to lose.
All right, welcome back to Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Hope you're all having a good Tuesday afternoon. Peter Tintendo is in the house playing us some songs. Great local guitar, singer-songwriter, several bands along the way as well. Great having you so far. This has been fun,
Thanks, man. I tried to give you the original version of that, just an abbreviated version of that original.
Yeah, that was
Check
very
it out.
nice. What was that called again? For
It's called Hands of Time. Like I said, go just type Venus Mars Project.
Okay.
.com. You can find all that stuff. I also have my own site where I just have all my dates and everything's posted there. It's petertintindo.com. But I was like, my last name is not a common, it's not like Smith. So I always tell people it's like Nintendo, except switch the I and the E. It's TEN, TINDO. But the other thing is, if you just want to feel like I don't even want to bother spelling that, just type petertguitar.com and you'll find my
There you
website.
go. That's a
I
little
bought the
nice and
domain.
easy.
I was like, yeah, you know what? That'll make it easier.
and then we'll post the show on Twitter too. So if anybody wants to kind of follow you can get the real spelling that way because you get a good Twitter handle that you keep people up to date on.
Absolutely.
Here's a good question for you. I was thinking. I told you at the beginning we got our producer here, Tyler, is a young musician. He drives to New York every single weekend
Are you
to meet his band. And taking a break now. He said.
It's a lot, man. What was your?
Well, my question was going to be, what is your best advice you give young musicians these days? Because it's not always the easiest road.
It's a tough road. I'm fortunate to be doing what I love. I'm a full-time musician. I'm a guitar teacher, piano teacher. I just started teaching ukulele.
Oh, wow.
Because it's very similar to pick that up and just do that. But it's all about rhythms and stuff like that. But the best advice I would say is do what you love doing. In my experience of teaching young kids, older people, the older people will tell me, I didn't do what I loved doing when I was growing up, and I want to do it now. It's like, good. you can do it at any time in your life. But if you're starting out, do what you love doing. If you're writing songs, there's so many different avenues in music, and I've actually done a little bit of everything. I've been a session musician for other artists. I've done the teaching. I'm doing the teaching thing. I do all these things, and then I play out live on top of that. So it's not a 9-to-5 job. So if that's
and you're a young man too.
I'm working it. It's the music keeps you young. That's the best thing about it. And my best advice is just keep plugging away at it. I've been able to see different things that I never would have been able to see in any other profession. Like I had the pleasure of playing with Jimmy Jameson from the band Survivor. He passed away a few years ago. He was an amazing talent, but I backed him up when he came up here a couple times, and they actually flew me out one time to Texas to play a show with him. He's one of my idols. I grew up, like I said, I grew up on 80s music, and Jimmy was always I was a big fan of the band Survivor growing up, and then I got the opportunity to play with him. He was the sweetest guy. Wow. And there's so many different experiences.
Did he find you, or did you reach out to him?
It worked out. I was playing in a British rock band, classic rock band called Britannica, with my partner Ted, and we would do like Beatles, Stones, Moody Blues, like all the classic Beatles, all the classic British rock. Yeah. And we had an opportunity to open for him, and they needed to put a band together for him. So I was just in the right place at the right time, and I put this backing band together for him at that point. Wow. And it was just amazing. I'm playing all these songs, and what a lot of people, it was funny because there was this. Do you remember the show Baywatch?
Yeah, I do.
The original
yes.
one. And there was a song at the beginning of that. It's called "I'm Already There."
Yeah.
Well, it was after Survivor had kind of gone through, and he had a song on there. He's actually the singer on it. The song "I'm Already There." That's
them?
That's Jimmy Jameson's voice. It's not Survivor. It's Jimmy Jameson's voice.
Do you remember the riff to that? It's
some people stand.
That's right.
It's that. I don't know the words to that one, but I should learn that one.
That's hilarious.
But it was awesome. I got to play that on stage with him, and we played a lot of
them.
Yeah. I'll be ready. I'll be ready. I love that.
It's too funny.
But he was an amazing talent, who we unfortunately lost a few years ago. But I stayed in touch with him. He was the sweetest guy, and just through that experience. But like I said, music can take you to all these different places where you get to hang with all you'd be like, how did that happen? But he was, like I said, I can't say enough about him. And last year I was filling in for a buddy of mine's group. They play with Billy Gilman. They're called the Ragged Impresarios, and they needed a fill-in, and I got to play with Billy Gilman, who was on The Voice. Wow! And I was in the backing band at a show out in New York for him, and it was cool. Just. So I know the trip to New York. I know how that can be. But that's the whole thing. I always say, do what you love, even if it's not a music. Even if you're just hey, you like talking on the radio. Yep. There's so many different avenues in music and in that you can follow, and that's really what it is. I've been recording. I've worked with some different artists doing that, and you just never know where it'll take you.
There you go. And here it's taking you to Newburyport on a fun little Tuesday afternoon.
So. Let's have fun, man. I love it. I love coming up here.
You want to play another one here?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've been doing, like I said, I try to mix up a lot of things because there's so many different people that come in. You get young, older, and I'm always trying to get people just up off their seats. And this one's cool. Got a cool story because a couple of years ago I've been more into the modern. There's some modern pop songs and groups that have come out that are kind of 80s influenced. Yeah. And this one, I heard this, and then I went and listened to their record. I was blown away. I'm like, wow. It's I'm into new music. I always thought I was the old fossil into the older stuff, like Kiss and the Beatles. And I'm like, oh, some of this stuff is influenced by that. But one of the groups was Walk the Moon. Years ago, they had a hit, and I heard the song. And I'm like, this sounds like U2. Yep. And I was like, just a riff at the beginning, is this a new U2 song? And it wasn't. And I was like, who the heck is this? It's called Shut Up and Dance.
All right, take it away. This. Peter Tintendo.
Oh, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said, ooh, ooh, shut up and dance with me. We were victims of the night, the chemical, physical kryptonite. Helpless to the base and the fading light. I knew She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said, ooh, ooh, shut up and dance with me. A backless dress and some beat-up sneaks. My discotheque Juliet teenage dream. Felt it in my chest as she looked at me. I knew we were bound to be together, bound to be together. She took my arm. I don't know how it happened. We hit the floor and she said, oh, don't you dare look back. Just keep your eyes on me. I said, you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said, ooh, ooh, shut up and dance with me. Deep in her eyes, I think I see a future. I realize this is my last chance. She took my arm. I don't know how it happened. We hit the floor and she said, oh, don't you dare look back. Just keep your eyes on me. I said, you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said, ooh, ooh, shut up and dance. Don't you dare look back. Keep your eyes on me. I said, you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said, ooh, ooh, shut up and dance with me. Ooh, ooh, shut up and dance with me.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, man, that's a great tune. That's like, like I wanted to learn an acoustic because I'm like, you know, you got to do it with a band. It's like one of those songs you're like, but if that's always my big litmus test. If the song could sound cool acoustic, you got a great song.
There you go.
You know, at the end of the day.
Absolutely, you're right. There's a little U2 influence. I always thought that with them too.
Right? And if you listen to the record is really, really solid. It's not just U2. It just, the whole record is really solid. It's the one they did in 2014. They came out with a new one recently I haven't really gotten to listen to.
Do you find yourself stumbling over a lot of good music these days?
I do. I've been, you know, I told you I'm a big fan of the 80s stuff.
Yeah.
And I grew up, you know, I was a child, the product of the 80s, and you know, anything, like I said, I was a big fan of Kiss, but I love the hair metal stuff, like the Steve Vai's and Joe Satriani's. I played, that's more my style, lead guitar playing. And John Petrucci, Dream Theater, stuff like that. But a lot of the music I like listening to was like, I loved when Chicago hit the 80s and like David Foster was producing all their stuff, and I'm like huge fan of all that. Just these polished records.
It's a wide range.
Toto. Oh, it's just all over the place. But I've been finding some new stuff just in my travels on Spotify. You hit the radio.
Spotify's a cool thing.
It's awesome. Well, when I started digging. When I started, I was like, I wonder if there's more music like Walk the Moon. And I started digging again, and I found this group called the 1975.
Yeah.
This English group. They had a song that was in a Volkswagen commercial called The Sound. And I was just like, I'm like, this is where I want to go. Musically, I was just like, the stuff's like catchy, hip, it's polished, but it's got that heart. It's a little bit of both, you know. It's a balance. You don't want it too overproduced, and you don't want it, but you got to have the songs have to be there. At the end of the day, you got to have those hooks.
That's it. I saw a group the other night. I don't know if you've heard of them. The House of Blues actually went in and saw Lord Huron. Have you heard of these guys?
I can't say I have.
So
no.
they get a couple hits out they might recognize, but they're just getting big. I think after they have kind of a cult following, but they're very produced in the studio.
Right.
But I went to see them live, and I wasn't really a huge fan. My wife is, but I went, and the live show is completely different. It's just a group up there just playing and just letting it rip, and it's like, wow, that sounds so much different than the record. But like, that's for me, that's the test.
That's
that
the connection.
They win the crowd, and it's a crazy crowd. So it's fun to hear the album version first, the live versions too.
Well,
So
it's weird because like another one that hit me, and it's weird to say, is like, you know, I'm a rock guy, but like one of the pop records that came out a couple of years ago was when you remember Carly Rae Jepsen?
Oh yeah.
I wasn't a big.
Is that Call Me Maybe?
I wasn't as much into that stuff. But then a couple of years later, she came up with this record. It sounded like 80s Cyndi Lauper. It was
really?
Emotion, and I was like, it's just catchy pop hits, you know. But it's really like the songs are just well written. And
she grew up a little bit. Did she?
Grew up. She evolved, you know. And I like when musicians evolve in like I listened to like when I grew up listening to the Beatles. That was always my thing. I was like, how did they come from like it was such a short span, but like from 62, 63 to like the end.
Yeah.
When they looked like the clean cut, mop tops to like
Hanging out
they
with
got
Bob
the long
Dylan.
hair, like even there,
Yeah.
just the evolution of some artists. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's like they start off a certain way, but then once they start finding their own voice, it's really, really good, and as long as it comes from the heart.
Yeah.
That's the sign of a good artist or a good song.
I always say it'll be interesting to see where like somebody like Taylor Swift goes, who kind of has
She
the whole
changed.
package of writes her own stuff, can play, and has a great live show. It'll be
Right.
interesting in like 5 years when she's had
That's-
some real life
Well,
experiences.
that was another bit of advice I'd give to up and coming songwriters:
Yeah.
is write your own material.
Yeah.
Write songs. Always be writing songs. And I think that you build a catalog of these songs, and it's not just about you got to make your living doing it, but
Yeah.
it's about building songs that connect with people, and really. That's how you build an audience. You have to connect with people. They have to be if there's something unique about you, use that to your advantage when you're writing. Like maybe I write this song that we don't do. We have a hook, but we don't have. We don't use the bridge. We just don't want to use it. Like find something that in the niche that works for you.
Yeah.
To kind of do things. Is it cool if I do another?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about
Take the mantle with that anytime you want.
Well, I guess on that Beatles thing, like I said, I wrote an original song of mine. It's called "Just One Night," and it kind of it's like the Beatles meets the Raspberries. I was a big fan
Ooh.
of Eric Carmen, who wrote "All by Myself," but he was in a band in the early '70s called the Raspberries, and I'm a big fan of those records. And they have this it's that catchy, and he kind of was like a bridge between the Beach Boys and the Beatles.
Yep.
They had great harmonies, and they also had the songs, the even more catchy songs
All
too.
right.
So this is called "Just One Night."
Just One Night. Peter Tintendo, take it away.
All I want is just one night with you. I swear it will last forever. All I want is just one night with you. Girl, I look into those eyes. I see that smile that drives me crazy. Girl, you know I need you now. Baby, you're the one who drives me insane. And I ask of you to set me free, because you're all I want, you're all I need tonight. All I want is just one night with you. I swear it will last forever. All I want is just one night with you. All I want is just one night with you. I swear it will last forever. All I want is just one night with you. All I want is just one night with you. I swear it will last forever. All I want is just one night with you. You're all that I want.
Very nice.
It's an original.
Peter Tintendo in the house. Much more with him in just a moment. This is Afternoon Drive on Joppa Radio. All right, welcome back to Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. We got Peter Tintendo in the house here today, a singer-songwriter, local guy, living in Topsfield these days. I knew him from back in Danvers. I actually went to school with your brother at Danvers High. Yes. So I always knew you were a good guitar. Even back in those days, the rumor mill was swirling that there was a serious guitar player in the area. But and here you are now, years later. So it's nice to have you on board here today. It's been a lot of fun. Any good shows lately? Seen any shows yourself, or are you too busy playing your own stuff?
Well, I'm actually going to see a show next in October. This group called The Midnight. Again, I was talking about these new groups that have been coming out that are kind of 80s influence. There's another group that they blow me away with the music. It's got that 80s like rolling, the drum machine sound and stuff. But it's just the songs are just really good and catchy, and they just I love that sound. I grew up a rocker, I grew up on the whole
yeah.
But it's and that's the stuff I love. But I also like that like programmed computer thing. I grew up a computer geek, too. So it was I was always into like programming stuff too.
And these days, there's a lot of that on the radio, right? All the computer programming and.
It's such a yeah. I mean, you sit now and you just like press a button.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like it inspires you though. It doesn't matter where I could play a chord and go, oh, that's really inspiring me. But I could go sit down on a keyboard, hit this one sample, and I'm like, that inspires me too. It's just different. Where do you draw your inspiration from? There's no bad points about that. So
who else is in that group of obviously you're heavily Beatles influenced in Kiss? You said any other guys jump out? Any guys that jump out as you? Those are kind of the band's things. But how about as far as your solo career? Do you look at guys and say I want to kind of make that part of my solo gig?
What do you mean, like
do you see any guys up there doing a solo show and say you like kind of how they arrange it? Do you he's doing guitar and piano?
I like doing both. I actually play keyboards too, so it's I want to do a show sometime where I get to play both. I mean, I've done it with Venus.
Set it all
project.
Up on there. Yeah.
Well, we did a show up in Maine a couple of years ago at this barn. It's called the Vinegar Hill Music Theater.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I've heard of that. Yeah.
We did it up there. We were like one of the first groups to go up there.
Yeah.
And we have video song. I gotta find it, but I was playing piano. They had this Yamaha grand piano. We did a couple songs.
Nice.
Because my partner, we were singing the Sam Smith song "Stay With Me" because we try to mix up the pop and the rock stuff. We'll do Pat Benatar to rock it out, but we'll also do Sam Smith, and we'll do like we've done Carly Rae Jepsen. It just works for our dynamic.
Is it true that some audiences, and I'm sure you've ran into every type of audience there's probably good and bad audiences. There's probably maybe audiences that like in Beverly that night that are just ready to party and sing, but there's also probably audiences that are just as into you, but maybe more of a listening audience.
Yeah, I get that all the time. I try to do a little bit of everything when I'm performing, whether I'm playing in a band or just I'm trying to put on a show. I think it's just because of my influences, but you have nights where you have to work sometimes just to get them to clap, and sometimes I've heard so many amazing stories from people that I've played for, like people that have gone through some really really traumatic stuff, and they come up to me and they said, this is the first, someone would tell me a story about how they were going through this really bad thing, and they said, my friend over there hasn't cracked a smile in like 6 months. And she told me, she's like, this woman, she goes, this is the first time I've seen her smile in that long. And I'm like, music has that power. Music has an amazing power of how it can influence your emotions and your feelings, and it's all about making a connection.
Well, a great story.
Every time I play, I'm watching the crowd. I'm like, this one's getting really into it, and then you got to watch out for the ones that get really into it, because you got to
Does the one guy bother you? It was a whole crowd, 499 people out of 500 having a blast. Do you see the one guy? Why is he not liking it?
I don't ever really. I mean, I haven't seen that where there's been that one guy, but some people just it's the ones I watch out for are the ones that are dancing into you. 'Cause they get so into it. It's like
a different kind of problem.
It's awesome because they'll dance, but then sometimes they just keep dancing more and more towards you, and you're like, how did that happen?
They're now a part of the
closer
show.
to the music. They want to be part of the show, and it's awesome.
All right.
But sometimes you gotta put the guitar out, like
You get that move down to
hey,
you?
hold on. Oh yeah. Years. That's experience right there, man.
Too funny. All right, you want to do another one here?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'll do. You want to do something unique? I guess we could do something a little more unique.
You are the man. I'm not going to get in the way of your set list here.
Dude, this would. We started doing this song.
What did you say, Tyler? Oh, loving it. Okay, I thought he had a request back there.
We started doing this. My partner and Venus Mars, we started doing the song "Valerie" by.
Oh, I
Amy
love that
Winehouse.
song.
So I was like, I want to learn this. And
What a
just,
loss she was. I
she
was
was
so
talented
into her.
singer,
Yeah.
and so I try to do like a male version of that tune.
Absolutely.
And so it goes something like this. I usually live I'll play it a little faster to rock it up, but we'll do the kind of more mellow thing. It's like well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water. And I think of all the things, what you're doing. In my head I paint a picture. Since I come on home, well, my body's been a mess. And I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Ooh. Did you have to go to jail? Put your house on up for sale? Did you get a good lawyer? Hope you didn't catch a tan, and I hope you find the right man who will fix it for you. And are you stopping anywhere? Change the color of your hair. Are you busy? Did you have to pay that fine? You were dodging all the time. Are you still busy? Well, since I come home, well, my body's been a mess. And I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie, yeah. Valerie, yeah. Valerie, yeah. Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water. And I think of all the things, what you're doing. In my head I paint a picture. Well, since I come on home, well, my body's been a mess. And I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Yeah. You come on over, Valerie. Valerie, why don't you come on over, Valerie? Yeah. Valerie, why don't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie, why don't you come on over, Valerie?
Very nice.
Thank you, man.
Very cool version of that.
Thank you, Drew.
I like that very much. What a song that is.
It's a great tune.
So that's the,
Again, acoustic song. You try them acoustic. And, you're used to hearing the full band thing, but when you try them acoustic and they get you, that's it.
Do you play a song like that and you go to a place, you play it by yourself, and you say, "Oh, this is working. This is gonna work."
I do.
Yeah.
I know. Like I do watch that. Like
Yeah.
what song went over well, and like,
You probably know when you're carrying it in anyway, but
the crowd will just. eat it up, and you watch the faces, like all of a sudden the heads turn. That's
Yep.
the most important. Like I always try to do that in my set, so that's why I try to do a wide range.
Yeah.
Because I mean I do like country. I'll do like Zach Brown band.
Yeah.
And I just kind of do my own countrified
Yeah.
Pete Nintendo Italian version, you know.
Yeah.
But I try to make it fun. I want to make
Yeah.
it a little more engaging. And then I'll do like I do Jesse's Girl sometimes, and I'll be like, you know, like that whole thing.
Absolutely.
But like, you know, why can't I find a woman like that? And people think I'm gonna sing the next lyric because
Yeah.
there's another verse, and I wait. And I just go, I give it dead space.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to the crowd for a second.
All right, we need an example of that. Go ahead, do that one.
All right. Do you want me to do it?
Yep.
The whole tune? You're going to have dead air for a second, though. Jesse is a friend. Yes, I know he's been a good friend of mine. But lately something's changed that ain't hard to define. Jesse's got himself a girl and I want to make her mine. 'Cause she's watching her with those eyes. And she's loving him with that body, I just know it. And she's holding her in those arms so late at night. You know I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Wish that I had Jesse's girl. Why can't I find a woman like that? That's the dead air.
There's our moment.
Right, and people will be like, what? And they'll sing it. They'll sing the lyric back, and then they'll go, I played along with the charade. There doesn't seem to be a reason to change. You know I feel so dirty when they start talking cute. I want to tell her that I love her, but the point is probably moot. 'Cause she's watching her with those eyes. And she's loving him with that body, I just know it. And he's holding her in those arms so late at night. You know I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Wish that I had Jesse's girl. Why can't I find a woman like that, like Jesse's girl? Wish that I had Jesse's girl. Why can't I find a woman? Why can't I find a woman like that? And I look in the mirror all the time, wondering what she don't see in me. You know it's funny, I've been cool with the lines. Ain't that the way love's supposed to be? Tell me, why can't I find a woman like that? You know I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Wish that I had Jesse's girl. I want Jesse's girl.
Excellent.
That's what I meant.
This is a good 80s feel right there.
That's what I meant. I got to do some 80s.
You got it. It's when you can't tease Rick Springfield. I found they have a very diehard fan base. They
He was up here. He was up in this area.
Did you go to see him?
I did. I was at that
that's right.
show. Yeah, and wow, what a great show he puts on. He was solo. Show.
That was solo too, right?
Yeah, they had an opening act too. It was funny. It was a guy-girl thing, kind of what I do with Venus Mars Project. They were really, really good too.
Oh, cool.
But it was funny. I was like, wow, I wish we were open for Rick Springfield. You know, like, and but Rick puts on a heck of a show.
Yeah,
it's
he
a
does.
great solo show. He tells some amazing stories.
That's a cool way to see him.
I didn't know like he was overseas. He was from Australia,
Yeah.
but he was talking about his time overseas in Vietnam. I mean, it was a lot of interesting stories.
That is
It
cool.
was pretty cool, you know.
He was in a. I'm a diehard Springsteen guy, as I think we maybe talked about before, but. I'm at a sub shop in Danvers one day, and I thought it was on hidden camera. It was just me, the cashier, and some woman comes in, just randomly out of nowhere, goes, you know who's just great to the cashier? I don't think they know each other. She just walks in and opens with that. You know who's just great? That Rick Springfield. and I'm going, okay, interesting entrance. And then the cashier goes, yeah. And then she responds, so much better than that Springsteen guy.
Oh,
I'm like, am I on hidden camera here? This has got to be a practical joke on
The
me.
worst is when they say Rick Springsteen.
Rick Springsteen, yes. Oh, that's too funny. So there you go. We're right down to the end here. What any final words word you want to get out here about chances to see you here in the coming weeks? Or
like I said, I'm filling in for a couple different groups in the next couple weeks. And next weekend, I'm playing 2 shows. Actually, I'm up here in Michael's Harborside on the 26th.
Oh, that one snuck by
3
you.
to 6. I'm filling in for a group called Karma. I'm just playing.
What day of the week does that
That's a
fall on?
Sunday.
Nice.
On the 25th, I'm at Stonewood Tavern in Peabody with them. But I'm just, like I said, I'm filling in with some
That's a
different
cool
groups.
place, too, if anybody wants a good place to go out to dinner. I spent
Yeah.
New Year's at Stonewood Tavern. It was a great night.
Oh, it's a great place.
The
And
stage is behind the bar, for those of you who want to check it out. It's a great spot.
Unbelievable, like, stage in there. And it's a really cool, like, design.
Yeah.
And but, yeah, so there's that. I'm playing Captain Carlos up in Gloucester, if you're up in that area, on, I'm looking up my dates because I forget sometimes, September 8th. And the 29th, I'll be up at this place called Jewel Club in Manchester, New Hampshire. I'm playing with the Hirsch Gardner Project.
Easy to forget when you're a hardworking man.
I'm
like this.
trying, man. This is what I do. It's that thing, But yeah, if you can check out all my other dates, petertguitar.com or petertintindo.com, and see all that stuff. And if you want to hear some of my original band, Venus Mars Project, that's venusmarsproject.com. So please check that out.
Come on
friend
up
me
and
on
say
Facebook.
hello.
Yeah, friend me on Facebook. I'm on all those social media channels, and just say hello. I'd love to talk. I'd love to talk to you.
He
Music
does.
or
He's
whatever.
very accessible. One of those good local artists that you can go up and talk to. So it's a very good thing. And here he is. A very nice of him to do the show. I really enjoyed it. Been a blast, man.
Thank you both so much for having me.
We had a blast.
Thank you
Yes,
so
yeah, it was a
much.
treat for Tyler.
Tyler, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you today, man.
Tyler Neufeld produced it on the radio side today. David Kramer on the TV side. Big thanks to Sarah Hayden, the boss. You want to play us out? You got a good ender. What's the show ender these days?
I don't know. What do I end it? I usually do like Marshall Tucker.
Ah, beautiful.
Thing, can't you see? You remember it at the show? We did it at the show. Everybody was singing along.
Yeah.
You gonna sing with me? Let's sing with me.
You want to sing, Tyler? We can sing. We'll step back and sing. You're in.
We won't do the long version. We'll do the shorter version.
Peter Tintendo, big thanks to him. Great day. We'll see you next Thursday afternoon drive. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Gonna take a freight train down at the station. I don't care where it goes. Gonna climb a mountain, the highest mountain. Jump off, ain't nobody know. Can't you see? Can't you see what that woman, Lord, been doing to me? Can't you see? Can't you see what that woman, she been doing to me? I'm gonna find me a hole in the wall. I'm gonna crawl inside and die. 'Cause my lady, I mean old woman now, never told me goodbye. Now can't you see? Can't you see what that woman, Lord, she's been doing to me? Can't you see? Can't you see what that woman, Lord, she's been doing to me? Whoa. Thank you guys. Thank you, Joppa Radio.